I predict that we will see a new roller coaster open at Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida before 2030. And you're about to find out why Universal Orlando needs even more roller coasters and what type of rides they could be and where they could be located. Welcome to Theme Park Predictions. My name is Brandon, and it's crazy to think that once Epic Universe opens in 2025, you will be able to experience 13 different roller coasters across 3 of the best theme parks in the entire world. Since 2019, we have seen Universal add 7 major new coasters to their parks here in America, and from the reception and popularity of the Jurassic World Velocicoaster and Hargids Magical Motorbike Adventure, Universal has clearly found their niche, building world-class roller coasters that are heavily themed and going above and beyond to really immerse you into the life of that ride. With the 3 heavily themed roller coasters at Epic, the Donkey Kong coaster, the Monsters themed coaster, and of course, the Intamin multi-launch coaster that is themed around How to Train Your Dragon. It's safe to say that Universal is not slowing down at all from adding new heavily themed, thrilling roller coasters to their parks. Then, of course, you have the highlight attraction for Epic, the ever so intriguing Starfall Racers Mock Dueling Coaster, which honestly looks absolutely stunning. But at the time of this video, we do not know how much Universal plans to add theming-wise. Heading 2,500 miles west to Universal Studios Hollywood, where coaster and thrill ride fans are counting down the days until we get a final announcement for their all-new Fast and Furious Intamin multi-launch coaster that is scheduled to open up in 2025. Universal is making it blatantly clear that they are not messing around, and with how good Hargids is and Velocicoaster, Universal really knows that they do in fact need more coasters. And the best thing for all of us is Universal has the money and a whole entire department called Universal Creative that comes up with these insane heavily themed attractions. For more reasons why adding new coasters to the Universal parks makes the most sense, all you have to do is take a look at the wait times for all the attractions at both Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida, because you will quickly realize that the longest wait times at Islands are Velocicoaster, Flight of the Hippogriff, Hagrid's, and the Incredible Hulk. And you can even add the Pteranodon Flyers to that mix due to how long that line moves, even though it's simply due to capacity. The 3 major coasters over at Universal Studios Florida always have the longest lines. Ride Rockit has a steady 45-minute wait pretty much all throughout the day. Revenge of the Mummy seems to be getting more and more popular, and Escape from Gringotts is extremely popular every hour the park is open. What is the craziest thing for me to wrap my head around though is the capacity of these coasters. For example, Gringotts features 9 trains that each hold 24 riders per train. Hagrid's offers 12 different trains, each holding 14 riders. Now, while these coasters do not run with all those trains on the track all at once, it still is something crazy to think about. The longest lines that you're going to find at the Universal parks are clearly the coasters, and I safely predict that will also be the case once Epic Universe opens in 2025. And here is something to consider. If Universal did not realize that they do in fact need more coasters, then we would not see Epic Universe open with 4 major new ones. 5 if you count Starfall Racers as 2. Now, circling back to my prediction earlier about how I think both Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida will open up a new coaster before 2030. As for what types of coasters and how large they're going to be, and to top it off, where in the park I predict that we could see them getting built, we have to head over to Universal Studios Florida first. And in my opinion, this park is so underrated. But sadly, the hype for this park really isn't there now, with Islands of Adventure being located just steps away and featuring rides like Hagrid's and Velocicoaster. And here's something sad to think about. Just imagine how this park will feel come next year when Epic opens. In my opinion, the only 4 attractions that are really keeping USF busy at the moment have to be Diagon Alley, which includes Gringotts, Revenge of the Mummy, Ride Rockit, and Despicable Me. You cannot deny that Universal Studios Florida definitely needs something and feels like they're missing that star attraction. And the good news is, the park has the room for future expansion if they wanted it. There are multiple locations where USF could build their next coaster. For example, the backstage areas, as you can see right here. A lot of this stuff, Universal could relocate this to the backstage areas of Epic Universe. And as for the sprung tents, which are used to house some haunted houses for Halloween Horror Nights, they could easily be relocated to some other backstage area in the park. This is an area that would give Universal the most options to build a world-class roller coaster. Just think about a ride around the same size as a Velocicoaster being located in this area. Universal would sell even more park-to-park passes, and USF would benefit greatly from it. As far as what type of coaster, what I would love to see, and I do think it would be really cool to see, however, I do not know if Universal could get the licensing rights for it, but if they were able to, it would be really cool to see a brand new Vekoma launched flying coaster being added to the park and themed around Top Gun Maverick. Again, I know I'm living a pipe dream here with this, but I think it'd be really cool to see. I could also see the park adding a brand new multi-launch coaster in this area that is themed to the Back to the Future franchise. A coaster that would become the fastest in Florida with speeds of 88 miles an hour. In fact, I love this idea so much that I created a whole video explaining just how this massive coaster could fit in the park and even explained every little detail with you regarding the ride. So be sure to check out this video, and you can find a link for that in the description of this video. Even with this huge backstage area that is just sitting there, I still think there's one location in the park that will be home to a coaster before this area. RIP Ride Rockit, which has been operating since 2009 and has had so many technical issues that Universal has to be considering the ride's future. After all, the coaster is 15 years old and runs every month out of the year. With Universal's track record of replacing or removing their outdoor coasters every 15 to 20 years, that option has to be on the table. Come 2030, I predict that Ride Rockit will either be torn down completely or rebuilt with all new track. And with this coaster not being the most comfortable and offering lower capacity, I can see Universal deciding to ultimately remove the 167-foot tall coaster altogether. And if they would do this, then the park could add a new high-capacity hypercoaster that would slither its way through the streets of New York and in between the sound stages. Either one of those coaster concepts, it's safe to say that Universal Studios Florida would be a much better park and definitely a more popular park with one of them. As for Islands of Adventure, unlike USF, this park does not offer a ton of room for future expansion without removing something. All the rumors currently are pointing to the Lost Continent area of the park getting rethemed to The Legend of Zelda. And when this happens, Universal will have 2 parcels of land to work with for their next major project. The Sinbad Stunt Show building, which no longer is being used for the park sadly, and the Poseidon building. But the big question is, would Universal want to add 2 new attractions to this new Zelda themed area or just 1? In my opinion, and with how popular this area is going to be, I could see them going in the direction of adding 2 attractions. And I would love to see a brand new family style dark ride added to go along with a brand new roller coaster that would intertwine with the whole entire area. As far as the new coaster goes, what if we would see the park add a brand new B&M launched wing coaster? Or what about a mock extreme spinner? Both of these types of coasters would be very marketable and extremely popular among park visitors. If Universal went this direction, then it would really complete Islands of Adventure until they need to retheme the Marvel Superhero Island area. With the Zelda rumors already coming in for Islands of Adventure, it makes me think that Universal has to know that they need to heavily invest in USF first by adding a world-class thrilling roller coaster. You will be shocked with how I rank the top 10 attractions that you can find at Universal Orlando. So be sure to check out this video here and let me know if you agree with my rankings. So what are your predictions for the future of the Universal Orlando parks? You know what to do, let me know in the comments, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.